been a whirlwind.
It's been a whirlwind. Hey, yeah, you're feeling it.
I am.
God, yes. It's been amazing, really. I mean, I've made more discoveries in the last 3 days about myself. And I thought I was pretty sorted, to be fair. But then, yeah. So, no, seriously, it's been great. Really good. And I can't wait about this one as well, because that's the piece I'm really interested in. It's about how do I use it to align myself with my clients. For me, it's not a question of attracting more clients. It's more a question of how do I align my energy so that when I open the doors of my programs, people find me easily, no bother.
Yes. And that right there is ideal client. So when you do the ideal client workshop, which is one of the bonus workshops that I'm offering with the practical numerology certification, we will talk about how we have certain people we're coded for. And like, I like to think of it as we're kind of like puzzle pieces, right? We all have like the out part and we all have like the in part, and we are meant to give and receive different types of energy from different types of people. And so when you can understand, like, this is what I give, and this is what the puzzle piece looks like that's meant to receive from you, you can speak to it quite directly, right? And so I know for myself, I know what my giving energy is, and I know what people are meant to receive from me. And so when I speak to that energy, they can hear. And this is something that is very specific to your code, right? So it's very unique. And in this case, there is actually 52 different codes that we would look like, because this is actually a practice of advanced numerology. But for people who come in, I'm going to be calculating that for you in the Ideal Client Workshop. So I'll give you the information to use it in your business as you market the practical numerology or any of your other products and services, because we are not meant to look at this as like, well, over here I do numerology and over here I do, storytelling or, Reiki or EFT. It's like, no, you're meant to look at, here's who I am and here's the energy I hold. How do I incorporate my wholeness? And all the tools and modalities are in support of the energy that you have and the gifts you have to share. How do I incorporate them together into my own unique offer, my own unique products and services? Because nobody is you, right? And this is the thing that I love so much about numerology is there can be a bazillion numerologists, but each person can really be unique in how they use it, which you guys are going to get a taste of today, because we have a couple of guest speakers coming on in a little bit, sharing a little bit about how they use numerology and how it's impacted their business. And you will see every single one of them does it their way. And it's very unique. And this is beautiful, because the more we honor our uniqueness and our energy, the more the lack-minded concept of there's a limited number of clients and we're all competing to get them melts away. We don't have to feel that way when we recognize that there's actually clients that are coded to me. There's abundance of them. And there's completely different clients coded to all of my colleagues. And there's also an abundance of them, right? And so we can really tap into knowing that truth and embodying it when we actually understand the codes of our clients. So that is going to be huge. So everybody who's thinking like, do I need to just message me if you have questions. But if you're kind of thinking about it, you would want to register in time to get that masterclass, because it's going to be really powerful. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the 6 ways numerology can support you to bring revenue and clients into your business. I am going to be embodying my business background and business knowledge in this call. We're not going to be doing numerology in this call. We're going to be talking business, because obviously the last 3 calls, we did a lot of numerology. So you guys know that side already. And for those of you who maybe didn't hear in the first call, I have a business obsession. I love business. And there's a few reasons why. Number 1, people with good-hearted intentions who are here to lead, uplift, and support others need to have financially stable and secure businesses so they can be supported to do their work. And one of the intentions I hold close to my heart for many years now is that I am here for leaders to feel securely supported in meaningful work. I want people to be able to do the meaningful work that their soul is calling them to do, because that's why you're here. So let's align our abundance with that. And so I'm going to very practically go through how you can do that. I do have a business background. I have a business degree where I studied for 4 years, and then a master's degree in economics, which was an extra 2 years. So I spent 6 years in university studying business. I have an obsession with it. And there's a reason why. When I was a little girl, I remember being really young, and I had a hunch that money was the answer to freedom. And so as a little girl, I started developing business pathways. My parents had an orchard. And so I would work in the fruit stand and sell fruit and make money. And even when my dad didn't want to have the fruit stand up and going because he was doing other stuff, I would like go to the bottom of the driveway and sell peaches at the bottom of the driveway. We had a peach orchard. And I started babysitting at a young age. I don't know if anyone remembers Regal Greeting and Gifts. I don't even know if it's still a company anymore, but I like totally did the door to door with the catalog thing back in like 1989 or 1990, before there was internet, because I had a hunch that if I had financial resources, I had choices and I had freedom. And so as a kid, I was like, how do I get this? And I thought, for the longest time, the answer was to become a lawyer. That was, I don't know if anyone knows that about me. That's what my first dream job was. Until at age, I think I was like 15, I job shadowed a lawyer in Vancouver, a corporate lawyer who is an incredibly successful corporate practice in Vancouver. And I job shadowed him for one day, and I was like, oh, wow, he makes a ton of money and has zero freedom, like zero. He worked incredibly long hours. So I was like, okay, I need to understand business. I need to understand how I can have more leverage in my life, so that, because even young, I was like, I don't want to work all day long. Actually, what I want to do is travel and go on adventures. So how do I get that and have lots of money? Like, how does this work? And so I was like determined to crack the code on how this works. And so that's why I became obsessed with business. So I just want to give you that little background so that you can understand why. And, as I've developed my business in conjunction with my intuitive and spiritual practice, this has been the biggest fast track to financial success I've ever experienced, hands down, in any in any other context. And I've had a lot of different careers and jobs. But this whole thing of aligning your energy with your ideal client, with your soul work and your contribution, and allowing your business to be in support of that, to be that like solid foundation that allows you to expand into that, is such a powerful gift. Absolutely. And so Laura's saying, I want the information and I don't necessarily know if I want a business. And that's okay. Like, you don't need to build a business out of numerology if you're not feeling called to it. I'm going to present this information. So if you want that, it's available to you and I will support you. But you're definitely not like obligated to take the business pieces. If you take practical numerology, you will learn intuitive development. You will learn more about your spiritual path and the gifts you have to share, and then how you share them, that's totally up to you, right? Personally, professionally, whatever. Okay, so let's like just dive right into this. Are you guys ready? This is where you might want, if you are a note taker, you might want to write this down. If not to worry, you can catch the replay if you want to just be super present in the call. But I'm going to share the 6 ways that are really clear and obvious to build this into your business to create money. Now, these are 6 examples I'm going to share. There are clients who pick one and run with it. And there are clients who take some combination of them and mold them into their own offerings. And I'm going to kind of share examples of all of that so you can see how this actually plays out. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm so ready. Angela knows Laura. Brilliant. Okay, this is so good. All right, pathway number 1, right? Way number 1 is client attraction. Okay, and I'm going to share a couple of ways that this works. So the first way, client attraction, is using it in a leveraged way where people will talk about energy and energy forecasts. So people use this, I use this strategy, and there's a lot of people that do. Jessica Serrato uses it, Angela uses it, Jen Kohler uses it. If you guys want to kind of like do a little bit of research and see how these ladies are using it, All of the people I've named are using it in slightly different ways, but it's all for the same thing. It's to help people understand the universal energy, the water that we're swimming in, the energetic current that we're facing in a given day, month, week, year. It doesn't matter. You choose your time frame depending on how it fits with your business model. And we're using it in a one-to-many way where we're speaking broadly to a large group of people, saying, this is the energy that's unfolding. This is what you may expect. These are what some challenges might arise. And here are some ways you can use this energy to support you, right? And then we'll create some opportunities for them. And then from there, we can make offers, right? We can make offers. Like, I know Angela is really great at saying, these are some of the opportunity windows that are coming up. And if you want to learn how to use magic to work with this energy, come into my program, come into this service that I'm offering, and I will teach you how to use magic to work with the energy currents. For me, I go on once a month and share the monthly energy, and then once a week to share the weekly energy. And I do that to position Practical Numerology, the certification program, right? To help people understand how numerology can be used on a regular basis in life, so that when they start to see my offers come out around Practical Numerology, they're like, oh yeah, she uses it all the time for X, Y, and Z. Now I can understand how it can be relevant for me. So that's way number one. It's a really leveraged way. All of us are using the same technique, but positioning different products and services depending on our brand. And it's really powerful, because if you watch Jessica, Angela, myself, Jen Kohler, I know there's a few others as well, but these are the ones that are coming to mind, and you look at the comments in these videos, people are saying things like, oh my gosh, you are so right. What the heck? I'm feeling this too. How do you know I'm going through this? People feel so seen and people feel so supported, because it's the universal energy. Like, we're not making this up. Like, you can tell people what's happening. And then when they resonate with that, they're going to say to you, oh my gosh, this is so real for me. Like, I need your support. I need your help. And what's happening there is they're feeling your energy of, this is my contribution. This is how I give. And then they're like, this is what I need. So they're leaning into you saying, I need what you have. I feel your energy. I feel seen. I feel honored and recognized in what you're telling me. And so how do I lean in to work with you, right? So it's a powerful client attraction strategy that's on a one-to-many, super, super leveraged, right? Angela, like just the other day, posted that you've like something like over 6,000 TikTok followers in a month. Like, killing it, lady, by sharing this type of information along with her moon magic and all the other magical tools that she brings along. So it's beautiful. Yes, they're already in resonance with the universal energies and you're leveraging it, right? You're speaking to the resonance. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's talking to universal energy forecasting. The second client attraction tool, which is a bit more of an intimate client attraction tool, it's more of a kind of a one-to-one, is offering mini blueprints or mini numerology readings. And I have done this with a number of you on the call, where we hop on a call for 20 minutes, half an hour, and I will give you a 10 to 20 minute numerology reading where I will calculate some of the basic aspects of your chart. And I will say to you, you are ruling number 6. You have certain influences. What are some of the challenges you're facing? Like, you've obviously come to me because you have questions or you're wondering about something. And then the person will share like what's top of mind, what's going on. And I'll explain to them why I think this is coming up and what their chart has to say about it, right? So someone will say, I've been working on a product for a long time, but for some reason I'm not getting any traction. I'm not seeming to attract clients. I don't understand what's happening. And then I look at their chart and I'm like, oh, well, you know what? You have the arrow of frustration at play here. There's something not aligned, or this would work. What's not aligned? How can we deal with it? Where is that missing? What is it that's not lighting you up about this project? Because if it's not lining you up, your energy's not going to land. And I can see that very clearly, because with that arrow, they cannot put products and services out that aren't in alignment. And so now they're going to me, well, this and that and this and that. And now I can say, would you like ongoing support with this? I can offer you a 3-month coaching package. And in that 3 months, we can develop a strategy to create that alignment to market your products more effectively, right? And this is how I used numerology before I taught numerology, right? I was a business coach who often would use numerology to do client attraction in that way. So in those strategy calls and in those discovery calls, it's like the client is testing you out to see, like, do you resonate with me? But then as the practitioner, I'm also looking at the client's energy pattern to see, is this somebody who I want to support? When I look at their code and I hear their challenges, is there an area in their code where my gifts are meant to serve? And so for me, just knowing what my code is, when people come to me, if the pieces that they're working on are typically related to intuitive development, learning to work with energy more effectively, understanding their sensitivity more effectively, learning how to take risks that are grounded in spiritual support. If I see that in someone's code, I know I can help them. And it gives me the confidence to position the offer in a really clear, strong way where they have the opportunity to say yes or no based on their energy. But it also lets me know that I'm not going to take on clients who I don't enjoy working with, because I know the types of clients I like to work with. I know where their energy gaps are. I know where they need support. And I'm not going to bring on clients that are looking for something that's not my zone of genius, because I can see it in their code. Right? It's not just the conversation. Like, yes, the conversation matters. So I will be explaining more on that using the transformation formula, which is a bonus that everybody gets in the numerology certification. But you can see this in someone's chart. And then you can say, this is how I think I can help you. Like, is this something that aligns for you? And that gives them the opportunity to say yes or no. So 2 client attraction strategies. One is like the one-to-many of the energy forecasting. One is a bit more intimate, which is using a mini reading to look at someone's energy and decide, are we a fit? How can I support you? What are your challenges? How can we develop a plan, right? So that's the number 2. Super powerful and critically important. Absolutely. Thank you, Angela. Baya is saying this is really interesting to be able to look at potential clients and their codes and decide if they're a right match or not. Honestly, it really reduces the amount of clients where you're like dreading the calls. Like, we've all had those before, right? Where you're like, I've got to work with this client and I'm just not really feeling it. And if you're not feeling it, it's not of service to them or to you. So you might as well try to like prevent that in the beginning by properly screening, by understanding if your energy is a match or not. And sometimes that can be scary when you're early in your business, because you're like, I don't want to screen out clients. Like, I need all the clients I can get here. But there's a level of trust involved in this decision. And once you activate that level of trust, the aligned clients that you call in start to flow with so much more ease. And this is why people have higher conversion rates using numerology, because the people who come to you know you're speaking to their energy patterns on a subconscious level, or maybe consciously, depending on who they are. Most people on a subconscious level, they don't know. They're just like, I don't even know what you're doing or what you're selling, but I need to work with you. So where do I sign up? Right? Like, have you ever hired someone that way before? I know I have, where I'm like, I don't really understand what's happening here. I need to work with you. Just tell me where to like put my money down. Like, where's your pay button? And that's because you feel their energy. And that's a gift. That's a gift for the client and a gift for you, because now you're attracting those aligned clients. Yeah. I totally look at my codes of my students. So everybody who asks to have a one-on-one call with me, I will quickly run a mini report for them. I can do them in like 2 seconds now. Like, they're so fast. And people who don't ask me to run their codes, they just know, right? They just feel it and know. So that's fine. But if people are questioning, or if they have doubts, like if that's any of you, like, let me know. We can hop on a quick call. I'll look at your code and we can chat about it really quick. Or reach out to one of the other numerologists in this group who can also do the same thing for you, or the person who referred you. But we are all happy to like take a quick peek, because I want this to be right for you. I want this to be something that's of service to the path that you're walking right now. So if you know it, you know it. And if you're not sure, let me know. We can chat. Yes, I've done it before. Totally. Take my money. Right? When you know you want to work with someone, it's so real. And those are the clients we want. The clients we want are drawn into us in that way, because they are the ones that truly experience that transformational magic as a result of the energy signature you carry. Okay. So we've done 2 ways. Now we're going to do number 3. Number 3 is creating accessibly priced offers to build trust and connection. So these are easy yes offers. These are offers that cost anywhere in the neighborhood of like, let's say $50 to $300, where for most people, this is not a barrier, right? For most people, a price point of $50 to $300 is super doable and is a way to find out if there is alignment, is a way to invest in themselves if they have a lot of worry about investing themselves, a lot of fear about investing themselves, and need to have their trust built in a step-by-step laddered approach. So these offers that we build that are in the price point of say $50 to $300, these offers, the number one purpose of these offers is to build trust and connection with the client so that you can support them in an ongoing, more profitable experience. And then an experience that's more of an ongoing relationship is going to be something that dramatically shifts their life. It is true that you can dramatically shift someone's life in a 1-hour numerology call. It's happened many times in my world. However, most of the time, people experience an aha or an insight, and then they need support to ground and land and integrate it and actually create lasting change. So I will be talking about how to support your clients through lasting change in the transformation formula, which is one of the bonuses. But this is a really powerful way of like bringing clients in, getting paid for your initial like discovery call or strategy session or whatever you're going to call it, building trust and connection. And now I know if I can help you, and you know if I'm right for you as a practitioner, right? So Jen Kohler is a great example of this. I can't remember exactly what she charges, but I want to say it's somewhere between $200 and $300 for these reports. And she converts 50% of those reports into ongoing VIP clients who either become year-long Reiki students or who work with her in a VIP coaching fashion. So 1 hour with the client is generating her in the neighborhood of around, I think, $2,000 to $6,000 in revenue in ongoing client fashion. So this is something where I feel really strongly about, because it's these clients who work with you on an ongoing fashion. When you have a base of those in your business, you create a base of sustainability and stability where you can now predict, you now have some cash flow to work with, and you can kind of forecast like what's coming up for me in my business. I've got these clients on the roster for 3 months or 6 months or whatever it looks like. Now I can actually, rather than focusing in the moment on client generation, I can actually think more strategically about positioning what I'm doing, ongoing, long-term planning. I mean, long-term is such a relative term in these days, this day, but to me, long-term is like thinking more than 6 months in advance, right? If I want to think about what I'm going to do next fall, in order for me to have the luxury of doing that, I need to have some financial stability in my business. I can't just be thinking every day, where am I going to get the next reading? That's not sustainable and it's exhausting. It's fine to start there and then build into a plan that's going to be more stable ongoing, right? Yes. Okay, I'm reading the comments here. I love a mini reading. Okay, this makes sense. When I started my business, I saw potential in everyone, but realized that seeing potential in people doesn't mean they're right for us. Yes. I have to release people this year because I want my people to come. Absolutely. If we have our practice even like 20 or 30% full of non-ideal clients, we are the block to the ideal clients landing. We've literally now said to the world, to the energy, to the universe, my door is closed. I don't have room for you. And so those ideal clients won't feel you, right? We need to have capacity and space to be able to welcome them in. How do you release people who you know aren't a good match to work with you? There's a few different ways, but honestly, I usually just tell people or ask them, like, how are you feeling about our relationship? Is this ongoing for you, supporting of you? How are we doing with your goals? Like, you hired me to do X, Y, and Z. How do you feel about that? Are we on track with that? And it doesn't happen anymore that I get non-ideal clients. Like, honestly, it doesn't. It did earlier in my practice. And anytime I'd have a conversation like that, we would mutually agree that it wasn't really landing. I've also had clients that have just disappeared, right? Sometimes even paid in full and then disappeared. I'm like, all right, then you got what you needed. Okay, have a nice day. So trust the universe to take care of it. And if the universe isn't taking care of it, then sometimes just asking some questions and saying, how are you feeling about this? You know, what's landing for you? Are we making traction? Are we making progress? And in an open-hearted conversation, you know, you'll kind of know. I love this, Angela. Celebrate them. They graduate and then they can use the numbers to point them to the next best fit. Beautiful. That's another really powerful thing to notice is if you see in someone's chart, this will happen occasionally with me as well. When I work with someone and I see certain things in their chart, I'm like, before I can help you with this, you actually need to work on this skill set, right? And it's like, okay, go over here. Here's some of the people I would recommend who are brilliant at that skill set, right? Super powerful. Okay, so now we've covered building accessibly priced offers. So an accessibly priced offer, that's number 3, and that looks like a paid reading that is in the neighborhood of $50 to $300, depending on the style of reading that you do, depending on your business model. There's lots of factors that would determine what you would charge for that. But 50 to 300 tends to be the range that I see most numerologists charging. And I've done these at markets, you guys, like at farmer markets and crafters markets. I've done these there for like $30 for like a 10-minute reading and had so much fun. I've also done them up to, I think the most I ever charged for one was around $400 for someone who wanted to use their code to understand their business, who was a very corporate business. And then they ended up hiring me as a business coach for 6 months after that. And I charged $400 for their first reading. So there is strategy to the price points that you can use, which we can talk about in the training program as well. I will support you with that if that's something that you want help with. Okay, way number 4. You guys ready for number 4? It's a bit like tarot reading, but more scientific. So yeah, in a sense, yeah, tarot and numerology are very closely linked. Absolutely, like Angela's saying, there's a lot of overlap in the major arcana with the ruling numbers, as well as you can look at the suits for influence, right? So like if I'm trying to better understand a ruling number 3, I would pull out the 3 major arcana and then I'd pull out the 3 of each of the suits. And I would kind of do like a little bit of a deck energetic study around that number. So if cards is something you play with, I do talk about that as well, how you can use the cards to support you, the imagery to support you. Not so much with oracle decks. Oracle decks don't tend to be very numerologically aligned. Some do and some don't, but it's hit or miss. But if you follow a deck that's close to a more traditional tarot deck, or if you use a very traditional tarot deck like Thoth or Rider-Waite, there's quite a bit of alignment there. And then some of the more modern takes, like I use the Lightsteers deck a lot, and I would say it's quite aligned. So if you have questions about the decks you play with, you can always ask me or ask another numerologist who's really good at tarot, and they'll talk to you about it. Yes. Okay. An average of an hour long. So yes, when I do a numerology reading that someone pays me for, I always plan for an hour. There's no reason for that. Like you can plan for any time that you want that feels good to you. And you'll learn your rhythm when you do your buddy readings. You'll learn your rhythm that way. And you might also make adjustments as you go on. Like you might start out doing hour-long readings and then be like, you know what, I actually like doing 40-minute readings, or you know what, I like doing 90-minute readings. And then you'll adjust your practice, right? Okay. Client pathway to healing. This is number 4. Client pathway to healing. So when you understand the pathway to healing that your client is going through, each of us goes through, what I look at it as kind of like our hero's journey. We're moving through life through different seasons in our life for different reasons. And we have different skill sets, tools, and goals to work on and to develop as we move through this. And then when you look at someone's energy grid, you can see kind of how they're meant to navigate that season in their life. When you see this, you can very easily position ongoing coaching work. Like you can offer a 6-month package to help them navigate that, like, quote unquote hero's journey that they're facing. Because if they're coming to you for a numerology reading, there's some contrast in their life. They're bumping up against some rough edges. It is not all smooth sailing, or they wouldn't be seeking support. So if you can help identify, well, what is the contrast? What are the bumps? What are the rough edges? And you discuss that in your initial call with them. Then when you look at their code and their hero's journey, you can help them to see, like, why are these rough edges causing friction when they're meant to be moving through this energy pattern or this energy cycle? And so you can tell them, like, these are the places that your soul is guiding you. And in this 6-month window of work together, this is where I can help you get. This is what we're going to navigate through. And this is the step-by-step process that we're going to need to get there. And you can lay it out so clearly that you really do build that sense of trust in your client that, yes, this person can help me, but also in yourself that, yes, I can help this client. It builds trust in both directions. And the more trust that you have as the practitioner, the easier it is to position your work. Your work can sell when you have 100% confidence, trust, and belief in your ability to deliver. And obviously, hitting 100 every single day is not always doable. But the goal is that we're in the like 80% to higher range most of the time. And when our belief is low, we do everything we can to self-care our belief back up so that we're not selling with low belief, because selling with low belief equals low conversion. It doesn't work, right? It's frustrating for both us and our clients. Okay, so that was number 4, which is identifying your client pathway to healing and using that to walk your clients through an ongoing VIP coaching experience. Okay, number 5. This is one of the funnest for me, is because when you're done working with your clients, in most traditional coaching practices, they're done. Right? Once they've done 6 months with you, once they've done 3 months with you, once they've done your year-long signature program, whatever it is you have, they're done. You never see them again if you don't have another extended offer from there. Numerology gives you the opportunity to circle back with your clients all the time, or as often as you choose for your business model, to offer them ongoing client relationships. I have people who I coached 7 or 8 years ago who don't need me to coach them anymore, but come back to me once a year for a birthday reading. And it is such a beautiful gift to maintain those client relationships. I get referrals from them. It fills my soul to know what they're up to and to know what they've done with the coaching work we did all those years ago. Like, it's super rewarding, and it's a cash injection when they have their birthdays, right? Or whenever the person's decided. Also, I find that when you're going through a little bit of a dry spell, or you're like, why, there's not really a lot of clients flowing in, you can look back at all the past reports that you've done, and you can be like, who have I not done a report for in more than 6 months? I'm going to PM them. And now you have the report because you did it 6 months ago, let's say, or a year ago, or whatever. You have their report. You know what you said to them. You know what questions they asked. You can message them and be like, hey, I did your report 6 months ago. We talked about da, 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 da. I'm just checking in. How are you? How is that going? How did that land for you? Were you able to make traction on those goals? Let me know what's up for you. And it's a really loving and supportive way to check in on your clients. And then they might be like, oh my gosh, thank you for messaging me, because you're right, I did get hung up at this point. Can we please do an update on my report to figure out why I got hung up at this point? And then they come back for a new reading. It's beautiful. It's the most supported way to create ongoing relationships, because your clients feel super cared for. You actually get to exercise that care in a really loving way and potentially continue to be of service to them and bring in another revenue stream. So it's a really powerful way to just continue to have that ongoing client repeat business, that when they're done coaching with you, they can still be a revenue stream in your business, right? Yes. And then that's the final one, is number 6. Okay, so the repeat, the people who come back every 6 months, every quarter, or every birthday, that's number 5. Those repeat customers who maybe just don't necessarily need like bi-weekly coaching or anything like that, but want a check-in every so often, right? This is a reading on a regular basis. And then number 6 is to re-engage old clients who've dropped off. So this is another thing you can do, is you can start, this is what I do. I'm sure there's a better technique for tracking this, but I actually just literally scroll through my Google Calendar. And I'm like, who did I see a year ago that I haven't talked to in a really long time? Who did I see 2 years ago that I haven't talked to in a really long time? Or I'll look at where I save all my reports. I'll organize them by date, and I'll look at the bottom up, and I'll be like, who have I not talked to in a really long time? Okay, I haven't talked to so-and-so. I'm going to reach out and talk to them. And you can use a combination of like the dates and who I haven't talked to with your intuition, right? You can kind of feel into the names that you see, and you'd be like, ooh, I wonder who needs to hear from me right now. I wonder who would appreciate a check-in right now. And you can work with both, right? And it amazes me, and it probably shouldn't at this point, but I have so much gratitude for it that I'll still take the energy of amazement. How amazing it is when you message someone and you're like, I was thinking about you in that report I did a while ago. How are you? What's going on in your world? And people are just like, oh my God, thank God you messaged me. I've been wanting to tell you such and such and such is going on right now. And sometimes it's a celebration and you get to honor and celebrate them. And sometimes it's a, oh, and can we please talk again? Right? And either way, it's just so beautiful. Nurturing the relationships in a really loving way. Absolutely. So those are the 6 ways that are really obvious, really easy, and really straightforward to use numerology to build your business in multiple different ways, both for cash injection and for sustainable ongoing income, because you want to have a combination of both available to you, right? You need to have like, it's like kind of like building blocks, building a house, right? Like you need to have these different pieces to help move you forward. So there's lots of other ways that you can use numerology behind the scenes, custom depending on your business model, the other modalities that you use, the types of clients that you see. And these are things where we can talk about this on the Thursday calls in numerology, where you're like, okay, I see these pieces. How does this work with my like physiotherapy business? Or I see these pieces and I'm a real estate agent. I'm not going to do blueprints, but I want to understand how this information can support my clients to feel supported. Like these are questions we can talk about in the Thursday call, and we can get super specific into your business model. Okay. Whew. Amazing. Let me just quickly take a look at my notes. This is the other thing that I get a lot that people say to me. Numerology gives us a language for something that most of us can feel, but don't necessarily know how to articulate. And being able to put words to something you feel takes away the energy of apology that we sometimes carry, right? When we can't articulate something, we might come to it with a very like, well, I'm not sure. Is it just me? Or I don't know. And we almost kind of like have this like hesitancy or held back feeling, right? And this is one of the gifts I think with when we work with a client is if a client comes to me and is telling me, you know, the example before of like, I'm doing this work, I'm putting all this stuff out there and nothing's landing and I don't understand why. Instead of me calling them out, I can actually look at their chart and say, well, your chart shows that you carry the energy of the arrow of determination. Could it be that you're trying to force something that you're meant to actually make some changes with? And now all of a sudden, it's not so much me calling them out, it's me showing them an energy pattern and then asking them, is this energy pattern at play? And it's a lot easier for people to be like, is that energy pattern at play? And be open to the question. Versus if as a coach, I tell them, I think you're forcing it. When I say it like that, it's like a defensive leaning back energy, right? Of like, who are you to tell me I'm forcing it? So it's a really powerful way to point out sabotaging patterns without directly accusing someone of sabotage, because no one likes being told they're sabotaging things, especially when they're trying really hard. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Meredith. I love the framework of understanding it gives so we can step forward into more clarity. Talking of patterns, how does it fit with EFT? Beautiful. This is a really great question. There's a few ways it fits with EFT. Number one, I find that when people are in a lot of emotional pain, you can point out opportunities to them, but they do not have the capacity to be open to taking action on it, right? So if people have like trauma or wounding around being open with their business, selling things, building relationships, talking about themselves publicly, you know, being visible. You can tell them they're meant to be a leader all day long, but if they're afraid to be visible, they won't lead. That's where EFT comes in to help them create the physical safety in their nervous system to be like, I recognize I'm meant to be a leader. I'm terrified of being visible. Let me tap through being open to this and allowing this possibility in my life. The other thing that often happens with EFT where it can come in is that sometimes people are so lost that they can't identify who they are or what they want. Like, I know I've been in that place before when I was like literally at my rock bottom. I was like, what am I? Who am I? I don't even know. And I would look to my code to be like, Megan, you're meant to be a teacher. You're meant to be a risk taker. You're meant to have a deep spiritual connection. And then I would use tapping to help calm my nervous system enough to take action on being a teacher, to take action on taking risks, right? But I could see it and I couldn't necessarily do it because I was in such rock bottom protective mode, fight or flight, right? Yeah, sometimes they can't identify what's going on or name their emotions, and framing the energy gives them a place to begin. Absolutely a starting point to say, like, could it be that you are, whatever, a ruling number 6 and you love deeply, and that's why people pleasing tendencies tend to show up, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right, that could be what's happening here, right? Okay, now how do we move forward with this, right? So it can really give you the clarity on how to guide them out of their stuck place wherever they happen to be. Okay, why don't I have a few people on the call. Okay, this is great. Someone said something about Enneagram. Yes, EFT, numerology, Enneagram, human design. There are a bazillion astrology. There are a bazillion tools that do various different things kind of with the same goal, right? Like at the end of the day, we're all looking to just somehow be good versions of ourselves and feel ourselves contributing to society in a way that means something to us. Whether we're using any of the tools out there, like we have to pick the one that resonates to us. But somebody who is actually a certified numerologist and advanced numerologist, Kasha Rashfal, some of you might know her, explained this really beautifully to me. And so now I'm like, Kasha, I'm just using your explanation. Every single modality out there is attempting to look at the same energetic situation from a different perspective and framework. The energetic situation is the situation. Every single modality out there is trying to get at it from different perspectives and different angles. So it would be the same thing as like, here you are looking at like the Okanagan Valley, which is where I live. And there's multiple maps of it. I can get a trail map, I can get a topographic map, I can get a Google map, I can get an Apple map, I can get a bird's eye view map. It's all the Okanagan Valley, but there's different maps showing me what I need to know. And so numerology happens to be one map. Enneagram, astrology, I don't really know much about Enneagram, but human design, all of these things are just different maps. And as a numerologist, this is the one I love, but I have gotten human design readings before. I get astrology readings on a regular basis. I get tarot readings all the time, and I do tarot readings all the time. We get to mix in the pieces that resonate with our soul and create our own version of the map that speaks to our heart, that guides us most effectively. And guaranteed, what guides you most effectively is what your clients also need from you. Because there's a reason why you're developing a deep and rich understanding of the tools that you're using for yourself. It's because it's part of what you're meant to also share, give, and contribute. Yay, layers of information. So true. Okay, Angela, will you share? I would love to bring you on to talk a little about, you are certified, you are killing it out there in your magic business. It's like 6,000 new followers on TikTok in a month. I'm like, teach me your TikTok ways. It's so overwhelming to me. I just want to hear what you're up to.
Yeah, thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Yeah, 6,580, and April's not over yet. And I would say, so one way that I use numerology in my business is exactly what Megan talked about in point number 1, is going from the many to the one, talking about those universal energies. So one of the things that I talk about a lot of different universal energies on TikTok. I do something called rhythmic living, and numerology is part of that, right? It's one of the tools. So by doing that, it helps people relate to me on TikTok. If I'm talking about what the astrology is, or the retrograde, or the moon cycle, or the fact that it's a 9 energy day, that all helps people relate to me. And when people can relate to us, they want to follow us because they feel connected to us. So it helps you build your following. It helps you increase your influence, your strategy. So that's one way. Another way is that I do what I call moon alchemy marketing, but that's because I'm very branded as Moon Alchemist. But I bring in the astrology, I bring in the numerology to help other business owners know the best time for them, like their personal life and their business numbers, to do every layer of their business, right? And like every layer of their business. I didn't know to bring the numerology into that before I took numerology with Megan. I've always been very attracted to numbers, but I didn't understand the energetic component of numbers, which is one of the things I love about the way that Megan teaches numerology. She combines the intuitive, the energetic, which I'm an 11 too, so I'm extremely tuned into that. But she also combines it with solid business strategy. That's what makes it practical. It's practical in your life, but it's practical for your business, which then for those of you who serve other business owners, enables you to make it practical for your clients. Right? So for me, Megan talked about the fact you could also do those little mini readings, and I tried that and I didn't like it. But that's because if I can do a reading for someone on their business and make $2,000, I don't want to do a $150 reading. Like, that's not a good use of my time. It's another reason I love taking courses with Megan, is that she can individualize it. She understands that it doesn't make sense for everybody's business. Some of us it does, and some of us it doesn't, and some of your businesses will change. Right? So 3 reasons that I love working with Megan in numerology. And it's completely transformed my business.
Oh, thank you, Angela. I just so appreciate hearing it. And it's so true. Like Angela's saying, she's at this point where those types of readings don't necessarily make sense for her. And so she can find ways to integrate it into the business model that she's at. And, you know, for clients I find who are first coming into numerology and they're like, I don't have a business, how do I build it? Those $100 to $150 readings start out as their kind of like bread and butter. And then what happens is I teach people to look for the patterns in their clients. And once you understand, once you've done enough readings, you start to see, these are the reasons people come to me. These are the patterns that I'm experiencing with my clients. Here's the conversations I'm having over and over and over again. Well, if you're having the same conversation over and over again, this is something that needs to be leveraged in your business. And then from there, you can start to develop more leveraged offers. And so that's kind of the route that I walk through with people who don't already have a business or who are looking to start something from scratch. But if you're coming in with a business, then we're like, well, where are you currently at? And how do these pieces fit in and like further strengthen what you've already got going on? So I love that. Thank you for sharing, Angela. Also, I think we have Jen here. Jen, you popped in. I'm so glad you're here. Jen's been doing numerology for forever. You're like an OG numerologist.
Hi, everybody. The Zoom link was spinning and spinning and spinning. I'm sorry I'm so late. I was trying to get in, and I was like, my internet gods were saying no. But I got in. I'm here. I'm so glad. Thank you for having me. I apologize for my lateness. How do I use numerology in my business? Like Megan said, I've been doing numerology for about 3 years now. And I would say, how do I not use numerology in my business, right? Numerology changed everything for me. Number one, getting my first blueprint really gave me belief in myself, because I had been I had been a healer for 20 years. I've had a Reiki and massage therapy business. I came online and I'd been doing this for so long. But when I received my blueprint and I understood that I was the emperor, I started to embody who I really was. And so for me, I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. That was like a big piece for me. And so I had a business, but I didn't have the confidence. And so I started stepping into who I really was. And that is really the goal that I have for everyone who walks through my world, is self-actualization, right? That is really the true goal for all of us, is to self-actualize. That's like a big part of why we're here on this planet in these bodies, is to self-actualize. So receiving my numerology and understanding how I walk through the world really gave me the confidence to give that to my clients. And so I am a Reiki teacher, and I have a program called Embody Reiki. And one of the things that I do with everyone who walks through this practice, all of these people who are really stepping into themselves as healers, is that they receive numerology readings from me. And I really base everything that I do with each person individually based on their blueprint, their strengths, their values. The planes of influence are so important. Knowing whether someone is in their mental, their emotional, or their physical plane helps me to teach them in a very specific way. And I really do use those numerology blueprints for everything. And when I first started out 3 years ago, I just started using them in my daily posts for my, for the daily pulse. Every day I would sort of tap into the energy of the day and I would start to write about it. And I started doing that for myself, not for anyone else. It was for myself to embody the numbers. So this was really important for my practice. I did I've done 200 mini blueprints. I have done like 75 big blueprints, and it really has helped me to actually build my business online. So coming from a place where I had a business, but it wasn't super strong, numerology strengthened my business. And Megan knows that, and she did some math for me. I mean, I have brought in a lot of money, like $100,000 from blueprints, and like people moving into long-term clients with me. Megan is correct when she says that this is a long-term coaching tool that you can use with your clients for a really long time. It's not to make people dependent on you. It's to make people really understand who they are and to self-actualize. So that is sort of a long-winded way of how I use numerology in my business. I would say I use it every day of my life, and I can't imagine living without it now. And I'm so grateful to Megan for walking with me during this journey. And it's so powerful. So if you're on the fence, jump over, because it's time for you to take numerology. It's so powerful. I highly, highly recommend it.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jen. I just love it. Like, we've known each other for quite a few years now, and it's just so amazing to see how your business has like grown and evolved, and to see your confidence, and like you fully freaking embody Emperor energy, and I just adore it.
Thank you. I'm just over here building my empire. It's fine.
Good. So good. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. I love it. And everyone in the comments is like, Jen is amazing. Yes, she is. So good. I wonder, is Carrie here? I'm like, Carrie, are you here? I can't tell. There's so many people here, which I so appreciate. Carrie was like, I'm going to try to come and share my experience too. I don't know.
Put a comment in there for you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. She put a comment. She had to hop off.
Oh, she had to hop off. Okay, beautiful. I totally get that. Thank you for saying. There's lots of comments, and so I don't know that I've caught all of them. So yeah, all of this is to say, if there's any pieces that we talked about today and you're like, is this for me? Would it work for me? Whatever, feel free to reach out to somebody who shared their story, to one of the other numerology students who's been active in the group, or any numerology student you can find. Reach out to me. We would love to help you figure out if this is a fit for you and your business, because again, this is something where, chances are, if you know, chances are if you're on the fence, there's probably like some fear or some worry of like, I've said yes to things in the past that felt like yeses, but yet once I did them, they maybe didn't work the way I hoped, or they maybe didn't land the way I hoped. And if you feel that way, that's totally understandable of why you'd be hesitant to invest again. So if you have these questions, reach out and get support to make a decision, and don't make being afraid because last time it didn't work be your default decision place. Let someone support you. All of us are going to try to help you to make the decision that's best for you, right? The goal of the program for me is that the people who are here are going to grow, expand, and use this work to support, like Jen said so beautifully, their self-actualization and the self-actualization of their clients. Like, we are all here to contribute and uplift using our soul work. So that's my goal. And if it's using it professionally, let me know. If it's using it personally, that's going to be a piece of cake. That's super easy. The business is too. We just have to decide, like, am I in for this, right? And so this is where I find that most people, some of the hesitation will come up is like, well, I did this last training and I thought I was going to do something from it and it didn't really do it. And so if you have those feelings and you want to do this, like just talk to someone to find out if it is a fit and where it would fit in with your business. The other place I find that people often question is it's like, will I have time to incorporate this with all the other 10,000 things I'm doing? And I think one of the things that, because this is my question all the time, every time I'm like, oh, I want to learn a new thing, with what free time, right? Because I don't work more than about 25 hours a week, 30 max, because I only work 5 hours a day and I only work with my children in school. So between the hours of 9 and 2, those are my work hours. And so when you already feel full with your time, how do you add in something new? Okay. And so I want to just speak to that for a second, because oftentimes when we're full, there are things happening in our business or in our life that we're doing out of a commitment that are not generating efficiency, that are not creating a fulfillment, that are actually not uplifting us, but we just haven't recognized or noticed it yet. And there's 2 ways that numerology can support that. Number 1, when you start to work with your own energy patterns and you give yourself permission to rest when it's rest time, and be productive when it's productive time, you can get a shit ton more work done than if you work a 40-hour work week. I'm not kidding you. Like what I can get done in 25 hours is like way more than most people can get done in a 40, 50-hour work week. And it's because I use my patterns effectively. I know which days are my days to work on my tasks. And I know which days are my days to rest. And I don't compromise my energy. And when I don't compromise my energy, I'm so much more powerful and potent in the things I do that my effectiveness goes up over time. So that's the first way that numerology can help you. And the second way that numerology can help you is by committing to it and just spending a little bit of time doing it. You will crowd out some of those other stupid, annoying things that are hanging on because they're just taking up space in your life because you haven't replaced them with something better. So this is my way of trying to navigate the way I make decisions when I want to bring in something new into my life when my life's already busy. I'm a single mom, I have 3 kids, and I'm running a full-time business. So if I have space for this, I will honor a way for you to have space for it, because my values are on simplicity and ease in business, keeping business spacious and grounded. You know, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see yesterday was a very busy work day for me. And I still took time to go for a long hike with some friends, to do a card reading in the forest, and to go for a sunset motorbike ride. So I still want the balance in life, and I want that for you guys as well, right? Smarter way to work, stupid annoying things. Okay, so the fast action bonuses are gonna expire on May 3rd. I wanna support you guys to choose with confidence, because the energy that you put into this is part of what you're going to get out of this, right? How you engage with the material, I mean, as you know, because you guys have been on the calls, it's going to determine what you get out of it. So there's 2 fast action bonuses. Number 1, everybody who signs up before May 3rd gets the Ideal Client Workshop, where I talk to you about how you'll understand your code, your client's code, their fears, their desires, and how you can energetically support them. That's the first one that everyone gets if they sign up by Monday. The other one is for the first 15 people, because I will be creating custom reports for these people, where we are going to do a soul aligned sales plan. And that's basically taking that Ideal Client Workshop and then adding 3 more days to it, where we are going to use that information to build a sales plan for you, right? And so this is definitely something that's speaking to the people who are like, I want to invest and I want a return on my investment. I want to know that I'm going to pay this off quickly. I'm going to make money, and this is going to build my business, right? So if those are your motivations, then the Soul Aligned Sales Plan is something you're probably going to be interested in. And then, as I mentioned a few times, there's another bonus called the Transformation Formula, which is the 6 steps to supporting your client through a lasting transformation using a client session. So everybody gets that, no matter when you sign up. That's something for everybody. It's a super important skill, and something I really noticed from the last group of numerologists that they were craving, of like, how do I run a client session? How do I open it? How do I prep for it? How do I set my clients up for success? How do I know when the session's over that I've actually made a difference? So there's 6 steps with important markers to look for, and I'm going to walk you through all of them. in that training. And there is one more thing. What is the other thing? It's out of my head. Chantel remembers, she'll text me it. Oh yes, the pay in full. I'm like, there's something else. I know there's something else. If you do pay in full, you get to get a reading with one of my advanced numerology students who are all certified in practical and who are studying advanced numerology with me. So that's the gift, is you get that reading, which helps you to understand yourself a little bit more. I think Jen mentioned that so beautifully. It's like gave me permission to be that and really step into my strengths. So you'll get a reading with them, which looks like a report plus a 1-hour session. And then you'll really understand from 2 angles, because you'll get it for yourself, but you can also get a glimpse as to like, how might I want to incorporate this as a practitioner when I witness and observe how other practitioners use it. So that's the painful bonus. Amazing. Any questions, comments? If you need to chat, PM me after this. We can hop on a call or message any of the people who referred you or any of the people who shared their experiences. I'm sure they'd be happy to chit chat with you back and forth. And does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about today? I'd love to know if someone wants to share, what's the one piece that I shared where you're like, ooh, that stuck in my head, or that's something I needed to hear today. Woohoo! It's so good. Oh yeah, I never shared how Chantal uses this. I love sharing how Chantal uses it because she uses it in sneaky behind the scenes ways, which I love. She uses it in VIP masterminds, where she helps her mastermind members understand themselves better so they could take advantage of windows of business opportunity unfolding in their life, right? They can see out, they have windows where there's sales opportunity, windows where there's marketing time, windows where there's connection time. And she also uses it to help people more effectively plan their launch, right? So she's branded it very specifically to her work, which is all around helping people grow and launch businesses. And she does not offer one-off readings, right? So when her clients get to work with her in that capacity, it's really special. She only does their numbers as it relates to how they're going to launch. So super, super fun. Yay, Antoinette. I'm so happy to hear that. This is so amazing. So good. Congratulations. Okay, so I want to know what landed for you guys. I know we're almost up, like we're at time. So if you have to go, hang up, but I'd love to hear from one or two of you or a few of you what you heard today that was something you needed to hear. Behind the scenes seems sneaky. I'm going to secretly dose you with my magic. Anyone want to share something that landed? You girls are so quiet today.
Well, I'm going to say something. I missed pretty much your whole call because I was on the detox call. But I just wanted to say that knowing Megan as a person, I can speak to her character. I haven't taken her courses, but I've taken all of her free trainings that she's ever offered within the last 3-ish years. But I'm in Ayurveda school, so I have no capacity for it right now. But I just want to say, Megan, you are such a beautiful human. And honestly, everything you share, like we're in a group together, a different group together, and everything you share is just so inspiring to other members. And I just love the community vibe that you have. So for anyone who's going to sign up for your course, they're super lucky to have you as a teacher because you're just such a beautiful woman.
Nance, you're the best. Thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet. Oh, so good. Oh yeah, you guys are sharing in the comments too. Amazing. Leanne was saying, when you sell without confidence, it doesn't work. Oof. People feel that. Yes. The lessons on sales plans and how to build them. Yes. There needs to be a combination of the strategy as well as the energetics. And when they're aligned and they work together is the sweet spot. When the energetics and the strategy are mutually supportive, there becomes this like really powerful energy alignment that's so huge. How to build the customer experience is huge. And the customer experience is everything from the random social media engagements to them participating in whatever free content you provide or education-based marketing you provide, like this, for example, into whatever paid products and services you offer, into follow-up, into ongoing client care, into aftercare. Like there's so many pieces into that we can really support them through understanding their numbers and knowing kind of what supports them. It's like understanding people's love languages in a sense, right? Knowing where they get their affirmation and where they get their validation from and where they get their integration from. You can see that in people's charts, right? And so when you understand, it's like you could meet them there and be like, you know what? I know you're dominant in the emotional field. You really care about how this feels for other people and for yourself. So let's like meet you there, right? Or whatever. Thank you so much for being here, Cindy. I want to thank everyone because I want to have the tools to be the best I can be. Yes. Beautiful. Numerology. I randomly met someone years ago who opened my mind and I knew I needed it in my life. Beautiful. Amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, Marty, you're so sweet. You have the most amazing energy. Thank you. Angela is saying desperation versus confidence is big in how people feel. And I know you're referring to that in regards to sales conversations. So whether it's social media posts or an ongoing sales conversation or DMs or whatever it is, people, we can't fake our energy. The energy is imprinted in the words that we're expressing through the keyboard. So people can feel you if you're confident, if you're desperate, if you're worried, if you're anxious, or if you're like at peace because you trust your process and you've done the energy work to know you're in alignment. And like I'll tell people when I'm coaching with them, if you're in that place, don't have the conversation. Like you don't need to reply to people instantly. Go for a walk, ground by a tree, get some water in you, dance it out, then get back to them, right? Like they can wait the 2 hours or whatever, 30 minutes, like depending on where you're at, even a day or two, if that's what you need to shift your energy. But when your energy's in the right place, those conversations will land. So it's so important. Oh, such a special week. So many discoveries. Yes. Beautiful, fabulous information. I've loved this week. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do have a few surprises up my sleeve that I will be sharing with you guys in the Facebook group. So if you're loving this content, definitely stay engaged in the Facebook group. And as I said, we have until Monday to take advantage of the Ideal Client Workshop. So you got basically the weekend. You can reach out to me or any of the other people and get your questions answered and supported. Yes, beautiful. Angela, thank you for saying that. Anytime we feel that we have to reply to our clients instantly, it is a fear response, right? And if a client acts like they have that expectation that you reply instantly, then it's on you to create effective and healthy business boundaries. Just because we happen to be online 24/7 on social media all the time doesn't mean that we owe that energy to anybody, right? Like we get to choose what energy we're engaging and putting out into the world. And it's really important and deliberate. Beautiful. I thank you for reiterating that. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm sending all of you guys so much love. If you need any support, you know where to find it. And I look forward to working with so many of you in the next round of Practical Numerology. We are going to have so much fun. Thanks, everyone. Mwah. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.